Welcome to this week's Blame Game. We have a very juicy topic as C9 has benched their starting mid laner Diplex for a trial period run of their academy mid laner in Emenes. Also juicy news, potentially my mouth, I have aligners in, giving me a small lisp, trying to get those things a little bit better, you know? So apologies if this sounds a little weird, but I'm not gonna waste my 2 hours I'm allowed to have them off every night on this. That's for food only. Anyways, let's talk about it. This news might seem a little bit shocking as Cloud9 is looking pretty good overall at 7-2 in the regular season, tying for second place and not looking too far behind FlyQuest, even though they did lose that game pretty convincingly. It was under very weird circumstances and the players kind of blame the draft. But either way, Cloud9 is looking very competent this season. It's surprising to see a team in this position make a change where they're trying to find an upgrade in their mid lane position. It might seem even more surprising for some fans if you just do a cursory glance at his stats. His KDA and these kinds of things look fairly impressive, and he's clearly doing well in the team, but there are some problems that are hiding beneath the surface. For instance, his lane phase stats are universally kind of bottom of the barrel here in the entire LCS. He is just not getting very much done in the mid lane. He's pushed in, he's down farm, he's down gold. He doesn't get a lot of resources, to be fair. Blabber's jungle proximity is quite limited, so they're largely just kind of ignoring him and leaving him alone. His lane phase isn't so bad that he's getting exploded in 1v9ing and making Blabber come to him under certain situations, but they certainly don't have pressure mid to then go make easy roams around the rest of the map. There's been multiple interviews across the course of the season where they identify this weakness of his, and in team fights, he largely does his job well, and again, he's not problematic, but he does make some mistakes, and they're not the kind of mistakes like a Vikla might make where he's just going hamburgers, or Jojo where they're trying to 1v9 the game randomly. It's more just oopsies, not like, ooh, I really misread this play, but I'm being aggressive and doing something that's like generally good. There's just some situations where he does the wrong thing. Now, this is still a surprising change for me because you can point out these kind of problems, but the team's still functioning quite well without him, and his low resource but not problematic style at least allows Blabber to get up to carry in the games where Fudge is the carry or play around bot side a little bit more. So he is the best way you can describe it is just he's not a problem right now. They're 7-2 for a reason, and it's because he's not so bad that he is causing massive problems. He's not the 10th worst LCS mid, even though his laning stats are down there. He is not as bad as some of the other mid laners, especially in the mid to late game where he's able to, largely perform his role. That's why I see this move as risky, but I can kind of understand the headspace that Cloud9 is in. There's two ways to approach this, a domestic look and an international look. Now, domestically, while they are 7-2, EG and them are kind of neck and neck against each other, and FlyQuest is the odds-on favorite right now. There's also a chance that one of the other teams can eventually catch up to them and start performing better. 100 Thieves might rally a little bit, who knows? In any of these situations, having Diplex in the mid lane not be able to really compete during the lane phase in the best of 5 series against some of these guys come championship time might be a bit of a problem that Cloud9 is looking down the road at. Yeah, things are fine now, and it's not problematic, but it might start holding you back and be a bit of a ceiling against some other teams if you can't play certain styles or go toe-to-toe with them in the mid lane position. Things get even worse though when you consider the fact that with MSI having 2 slots now, even if they don't get first place, there's a decent chance that Cloud9 is going to represent North America internationally very, very soon. And with Diplex's current level of laning, it's going to get exposed really hard against the Eastern teams and even some of the European teams. I think from this lens, it's a little admirable of Cloud9 to say like, hey, we're fine here. We could chill at this level, but we are trying to really achieve some things with this roster. And we're not just going to sit back and, take what we can get in NA. We're going to really try and push our hardest to 1, win a title, and 2, actually perform internationally. The solution to this potential problem is none other than Emenes, their current academy mid laner, who's going to get a trial period tryout with the main team, probably play a week or 2, be getting the scrims, and see how the team is gelling with him. And just on an eye test level and a stat test level, good God, is this an upgrade. Emenes is absolutely crushing academy. #1 in basically every category that matters, both in lane phase and out of lane phase. He is just absolutely dominating. And when you watch his gameplay, it's not just like some weird stats thing. You can see how mechanically gifted this kid is. He is absolutely finding solo kills left and right. He's aggressive, and he is exactly what this team might need if they do go internationally to be able to go against other people. He is someone who has always had the talent. So what is he doing in academy? Well, just listen to some of the rumors that Cloud9 even addressed while picking him up. And these are just the ones that they felt publicly confident kind of joking about.
Inting in scrims, inting on stage.
Well, that's respectable though. I mean,
staying up all night doing things.
I heard he drinks a lot of alcohol, so he's perfect for at Los Angeles.
You can imagine how bad things have been in his previous teams. He's been on 8 teams since 2019. There are horror stories about this kid, and even their initial interview process with him did not go well.
And Blabber would ask a question, and his agent kept like replying.
Yeah.
And Blabber's like, "Yo, agent, like, no disrespect, but shut up. And I need to talk to Emenes." And so he started asking questions, and literally straight silence.
And now who knows if that initial meeting had some other problems. They talked about the agent coming in and out of the room or whatever, and just Blabber and him one-on-one connecting. So either way, there is just giant red flags around him. I mean, I can say, you know, not with 100% certainty that these problems are still going to be there, because who knows, anyone can turn things around and start behaving better. But the reality is that someone who has this level of significant problems is not going to overcome them overnight. And while he might be on his best behavior now, while there might be a honeymoon period, while he's trying to earn this spot, yes, I expect him to behave well, but who knows if this will last not just through spring, but long-term through summer and all these things. This is a very, very big risk that they're taking. It's also true for in-game as well. He is someone who's going to be a little bit more resource heavy in the sense that like he's going to be looking for outplays. He's going to be looking for aggressive trades. And if people are getting chunked out in the mid lane, Blabber might need to go there. The upside is of course that you can now start finding solo kills in mid lane, get pressure, get turret plates, which almost never happen with Diplex, or just make aggressive map moves around and then make things happen. But it does mean that, you know, League of Legends does have a limited amount of resources, and if Blabber's time is going there, that means it's being taken away from somewhere else. And it will change the dynamic of this team much more than like, hey, we just got a better mid laner out of nowhere. And that's before, again, being worried about the long term, will he regress to some of his worst tendencies, which, like I said, I'm very optimistic that it doesn't happen, but I have seen this misproven so many times in the League of Legends scene where it does not actually result in the person being 100% reformed, despite what initial comms the teams and PR people might have. The one benefit to this, which we didn't really talk about, is the X factor of like, who is pushing for this change within Cloud9? And I think it's very obvious to see that this is mostly coming from the team itself, the players, given some of the interviews that have not been super favorable around Diplex and his laning, as well as the fact that Blabber is one of the people who really pushed the org as a whole to sign Emenes in the first place, means that there's this level of synergy and understanding and trust that they have with him.
Blabber getting off that call, he's like, "Holy shit, I actually like this
Yeah.
kid." He was literally shocked. He's like, he's like, after talking with him, his English is good, and I liked him. I believe in him. I think we should get him. Let's put him on our academy team.
And now that they've seen him, I assume, performing well and having a decent attitude in academy means that they're comfortable to now move him up to the starting roster and at least try things there. And so in that sense, at least, I think any of the immediate interpersonal dynamics should not be an issue, because it does seem like a player that the rest of the team is excited to play with. Anyways, that's gonna do it for this episode of the Blame Game. A bit of a quick one, but just wanted to give my thoughts on this move, saying that like, yeah, I get it, but it's very risky, and I don't know if I was in the same position, I would have made the same call, but it seems like something that the entire team is on the same page with, so I'm excited to see if it works, especially since Emenes is such an explosive player that I will be very eager to watch his play in week 5 coming up this Thursday. We're back to normal again, even though it's President's Day and my meetings have shifted around. Yeah, Thursday. See you there.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel after the holiday break. I'm back here at the LCS. We're covering all sorts of cool stuff and getting hyped for this year. So please be sure to check it all out, subscribe to this channel, and then shout out to Alienware for sponsoring so much of what we do here. Wouldn't be able to cover this year without them. So thank you so much to Alienware. You can check them out at the link in the description below. And purchasing something from them helps us out here.